For Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J, and this is what I think. One of the biggest criticisms that I've always had about WWE, WWF, is that they've always treated world title contention like an exclusive club where there was only one member allowed in the club at a particular time. If you are the number one contender for the world title or the WWE title or the Universal title or the World Heavyweight title or whatever they were calling it at the time, you're the only guy that's allowed to be the number one contender. You get all the matches, you have a 3 or 4 match feud, and then once you've finished, either you've won the title or you've lost it and had to move to the back of the line. And then the next guy steps up and takes your place. The thing that I've enjoyed about other companies is one thing I really enjoy about AEW, and is that they do the exact opposite. Now, there's a spoiler coming, so if you haven't seen AEW World's End yet, you might want to not listen to the next part of this video. But if you have, and you've watched the most recent episode of Dynamite, then you know that Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, is the new AEW World's Champion. He defeated Samoa Joe, Adam Page, and Swerve Strickland in a 4-way match at World's End to become world champion for the second time. Now, he came out on Dynamite at the beginning of the show to announce that he was replacing the belt with his Triple B and that he was going to have a title reign longer than his original title reign, which is still the longest title reign in the history of that title for AEW. But in the middle of his filibuster, Adam Page came out. Swerve Strickland came out, and they both said, if the left hand doesn't get you, the right hand will. One of us is going to take the title off of you. And then Samoa Joe showed up on a video screen and said, hey, I'm going to get the belt from you. And also during his speech, Kenny Omega showed up on the screen and said, hey, Max, you know what? I'm going to take that belt off of you. So now, if you're taking inventory, if you're paying attention, you've got Kenny Omega, Adam Page, Swerve Strickland, and Samoa Joe all stating interest and intent in challenging for the world title. Now, in 2 weeks, Bandito, who won the Dynamite Diamond Ring, the first person to ever win the Dynamite Diamond Ring other than Max, has a guaranteed title shot against Max for that title. And Bandito is saying, I'm the Ring of Honor World Champ, I'm going to take the AEW World title too. And when he finished saying that, his tag team partner and best buddy, Brody King, said, and when you win the AEW World title, I get the first shot. Now, Brody has never challenged for the Ring of Honor title, but Brody said to Bandito, when you beat Max for the AEW World title, I get the first shot. So now, if you're taking inventory, if you're paying attention, Kenny Omega, Adam Page, Swerve Strickland, Samoa Joe, Bandito, and Brody King are all interested in that title. And then later on in the show, Darby Allin comes out and goes, Gabe Kidd, you beat the snot out of me. But I beat you. You beat me up, but I beat you. So now I'm going to try to finish off the Death Riders because I have one guy left that I need to beat. And once I've done that, I'm going to make my claim as the top guy in this company and be world champion. So now, if you're paying attention and keeping track and keeping score, Kenny Omega, Adam Page, Swerve Strickland, Samoa Joe, Bandito, Brody King, and now Darby Allin. 7 different guys during a single 2-hour broadcast of AEW Dynamite expressed interest in the AEW Men's World title. Not a flavor of the month, not a one guy till he's finished, then move on to the next guy contendership. 7 different guys have expressed interest in the title, all during a single 2-hour show, and this is after Max had to win the title by defeating 3 guys. Now, WWE will do multiple challengers, but only when they're doing the Elimination Chamber or something like that. But most of the time it's a single challenger. But AEW puts out challengers, plural. Everybody is chasing the championship. And when you think about it, I just named off 7 different guys who staked a claim to wanting a shot at the world title. And that does not include the international champion Kazuchika Okada, the continental champion Jon Moxley, the national champion Ricochet, and the TNT champion Mark Briscoe. All of those guys might want to move up to the next level. And then you got guys who finished in the semifinals and finals of the Continental Classic, guys like Konosuke Takeshita, who is currently the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, or a guy like Kyle Fletcher, who just lost his TNT title, but finished in the semifinals of the Continental Classic. You might be looking at any of those guys staking a claim, making a challenge to the world title. So Max has a lot of things he has to think about. Max has a lot of guys he has to try to get by. Even if you mention guys like Claudio Castagnoli, the CMLL world champion, there's a lot of guys who might challenge Maxwell Jacob Freeman down the line. And what AEW is going to do is they're going to put all of those challengers right out front. It's not going to be one guy calling out the champion and then other guys having to find something to do. They're all going to stake a claim, and they're all going to make a run, and they're all going to try to get matches, and they're all going to end up fighting each other to see who gets the next match. Not who gets to be the top guy, who gets to be the guy that fights the champ next, while they're all fighting to be champ. And that's what makes it more fun, because it's not Cody versus Drew McIntyre in March, Cody versus Drew McIntyre at April's pay-per-view, Cody versus Drew McIntyre at May's pay-per-view, and then, okay, Cody gets attacked by Roman Reigns. Now it's Cody versus Roman Reigns in June, Cody versus Roman Reigns in July, Cody versus Roman Reigns in August, and then Cody gets attacked by Kevin Owens. So it's Cody versus Kevin Owens in September, Cody versus Kevin Owens in October, Cody versus Kevin Owens in November, and on and on and on. It's always going to be variety, it's always going to be different, and it's always going to be a little unexpected, and that's what makes it fun. That's why I applaud companies other than WWE for the way they treat their world titles. Because like in boxing and like in some of these other sports, when you're champ, you face everyone and you face whoever they put in front of you. And if you're the champ, you're good enough to come out of there unscathed. Remember to like and share this video and subscribe to this channel, and visit the Eric J on Sports website, and follow me on Facebook at Eric J on Sports 1 and on Instagram and Twitter at Eric J on Sports. And for Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J, and this is what I think.